Silence is a source of great strength, said Lao Tzu, yet in today's chaotic world, it's a strength few of us wield. When faced with unfair criticism, gossip, or insults, most of us feel compelled to react, defend ourselves, argue, or prove a point. But what does that lead to? More stress, broken relationships, and the constant feeling of being misunderstood. What if the real power lies not in reacting, but in mastering silence? Stick with me, and you'll learn how this ancient Stoic principle can be the ultimate solution to life's modern chaos. Number 1. When being criticized unfairly. When someone is criticized unfairly, the natural impulse is often to defend oneself, to counter the attack with words, and to prove that the criticism is undeserved. In today's world, where social media amplifies personal feedback, and people often feel compelled to speak out at every opportunity, the urge to react can be particularly strong. However, those who indulge this impulse often find themselves embroiled in fruitless arguments that escalate the situation, rather than resolve it. Instead of achieving the desired outcome, being understood, or showing that they're right, those who react impulsively may end up looking defensive, agitated, or even more vulnerable to further criticism. They may also allow the negative words of others to take root in their minds, clouding their judgment and disrupting their emotional state. Science supports the notion that responding impulsively to unfair criticism is detrimental. Research has shown that when people react defensively, especially in emotionally charged situations, their stress levels rise significantly. In fact, according to a study published in Psychological Science, people who immediately respond to criticism without pausing to reflect experience a surge in cortisol, the hormone associated with stress. This heightened state of stress impairs judgment, making it harder to respond thoughtfully or make productive decisions. On the other hand, maintaining composure and resisting the urge to react right away allows the brain to process the situation more effectively. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic philosopher, encourages us to approach criticism with equanimity, understanding that the opinions of others are not within our control and should not disturb our inner peace. He famously wrote, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury," reminding us that our true strength lies in how we respond, not in how we are treated. In real life, applying Stoic silence when faced with unfair criticism can be a powerful tool for personal growth. The next time you're criticized unfairly, resist the urge to immediately respond or defend yourself. Instead, take a breath and allow yourself time to reflect. Consider whether the criticism has any truth to it, or if it is merely a reflection of the other person's state of mind. You may also find it helpful to remember that not all criticisms are about you. They can be projections of someone else's frustrations or insecurities. By choosing silence, you not only avoid adding fuel to the fire, but also show that you value your peace of mind over the need to be validated by others. If a response is necessary, take time to craft it carefully, ensuring it's thoughtful and measured rather than reactive. Over time, this practice of embracing silence in the face of criticism will help you build resilience, emotional intelligence, and a deeper sense of inner calm, all of which are essential for navigating life's challenges with grace and wisdom. Number 2, Stoic silence in the middle of boasts. In today's world, where self-promotion and boasting are often seen as necessary for success, the natural response to boastful statements is either to join in, one-up the speaker, or counter the boast with an achievement of your own. Many of us feeling the pressure to keep up or be noticed, may feel tempted to react in ways that affirm our worth and achievements. However, indulging in this back and forth of boasting rarely leads to productive or meaningful outcomes. Instead of fostering respect or admiration, engaging in this cycle can create tension, breed competition, and even undermine genuine connections. In some cases, it might leave you looking as if you're trying too hard to impress, or worse, it can escalate into a petty exchange where no one truly gains anything. Research shows that when people boast, they often seek validation or approval from others. According to a study published in Psychology Today, individuals who engage in excessive boasting tend to have lower self-esteem and are trying to compensate for feelings of insecurity. This need for external validation can be draining for both the speaker and the listener. When someone boasts, they are essentially asking for affirmation of their self-worth. But often what they receive instead is a sense of disconnection or even resentment from those around them. The Stoics, particularly Marcus Aurelius, understood that external validation should not be the foundation of one's sense of self. In his meditations, he emphasized that the opinions of others are beyond our control and that we should instead be focused on the insights that our mind produces and create something remarkable. Instead of feeding into the boast, the Stoic response is to remain silent, unaffected by the need for validation. In real life, practicing Stoic silence during boastful moments can bring immediate benefits. When faced with someone boasting about their accomplishments, resist the urge to compete or compare. Instead, take a moment to appreciate the person's achievements without feeling the need to either match them or outdo them. This silence demonstrates self-assurance, showing that you are not threatened by the need to prove yourself. In situations where it feels appropriate to acknowledge the boast, you can do so with grace by simply offering a genuine compliment or acknowledging the person's success without trying to insert your own. Over time, this approach will help you cultivate inner confidence, allowing you to focus on your own growth rather than seeking approval from others. The habit of Stoic silence in the face of boasts leads to greater emotional resilience and a more peaceful, centered existence. Number 3, when dealing with anger. When confronted with anger, whether from others or stirred within ourselves, the first instinct is often to respond in kind, to defend ourselves, or to retaliate. This reaction can take many forms: shouting, arguing, or even lashing out with words that we may later regret. In moments of anger, people tend to feel a rush of emotion that can cloud their judgment and escalate the situation further. The desire to win, the argument, or set things right can make the situation worse, rather than bringing resolution. Anger fuels more anger, and what could have been a simple disagreement can turn into a prolonged conflict. When we respond impulsively, we lose control over our emotions, which often leads to more harm than good, both to our relationships and to our own sense of well-being. Studies have shown that responding to anger impulsively can have serious long-term effects on both mental and physical health. According to research published in Psychological Science, when individuals respond to anger with aggression, their stress levels increase and their ability to think rationally diminishes. This surge of emotional energy also activates the amygdala, the part of the brain responsible for the fight or flight response, which can impair decision-making and problem-solving abilities. Furthermore, prolonged exposure to anger and stress can contribute to chronic health issues such as high blood pressure, heart disease, and mental health struggles. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, wisely reminds us that how much more grievous are the consequences of anger than the causes of it. He stresses the importance of recognizing that our peace of mind is more valuable than winning an argument or seeking immediate retribution. By mastering our response to anger, we retain control over our actions and our emotional state. In practice, when faced with anger, the Stoic approach is to embrace silence and pause before reacting. This gives you a moment to assess the situation and choose a response that aligns with your values. Instead of immediately snapping back, take a deep breath, step back, and observe your emotions. Ask yourself if the issue at hand is truly worth engaging with, or if it can be let go. Often, the best response is no response at all. If a response is necessary, make it calm and measured, not driven by the heat of the moment. By practicing this habit of stoic silence, you can avoid escalating conflicts and protect your mental and emotional well-being. This approach allows you to maintain your dignity and composure, regardless of the provocation, ultimately fostering more peaceful interactions and helping you stay grounded in your values. Number 4. Silence amidst unfounded rumors. When rumors are circulating, especially when they are false or unfounded, the urge to defend your reputation can be overwhelming. The natural response is often to set the record straight, to explain yourself, or to correct the misinformation. However, speaking out in response to rumors can sometimes do more harm than good. It can draw more attention to the issue, intensify the gossip, or even lend credibility to the false narrative. In the age of social media, where rumors spread quickly and reach a vast audience, this reaction is even more tempting. People want to ensure that others see them in a positive light, and when they are attacked through rumors, defending themselves can seem like the right thing to do. But this reactive approach often only perpetuates the cycle of negativity and invites further scrutiny. Research supports the idea that responding to rumors and gossip can fuel more conflict. A study conducted by the University of California found that defending yourself against rumors often leads to greater emotional distress and does not necessarily change others' perceptions. When people engage with gossip, their stress levels rise, and their relationships can be damaged further. Moreover, the act of defending oneself may inadvertently validate the gossip, allowing it to gain more traction. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, emphasizes the power of ignoring false claims and focusing instead on one's own integrity. The opinions of others are not within our control, but our own actions and responses are. By practicing silence in the face of rumors, we demonstrate that we are unaffected by what others say about us. In practical terms, when faced with rumors, it's often best to stay silent and let time reveal the truth. Responding to false claims may seem like a way to protect your reputation, but it can often entrench the false narrative. Instead, focus on maintaining your composure and letting your actions speak for themselves. If the rumors persist or escalate, you may choose to address them, but only after careful consideration and without giving in to the emotional impulse to defend yourself. By practicing stoic silence in the face of unfounded rumors, you protect your peace of mind and allow the truth to emerge naturally. Over time, others will come to recognize that your actions align with your values, and the baseless rumors will lose their power. This approach not only preserves your reputation, but also allows you to maintain control over how you are perceived, regardless of what others say. Number 5. How to deal with loss. Loss is an inevitable part of life. Whether it's the loss of a loved one, a job, or a significant opportunity, the emotional turmoil that accompanies loss can make it difficult to stay composed. and many people instinctively try to avoid or numb the pain by seeking distractions or venting their emotions. However, reacting impulsively to loss through anger, sorrow, or frustration often leads to prolonged suffering, as it prevents us from processing the experience in a healthy way. Rather than confronting the loss with clarity and resilience, many find themselves overwhelmed by feelings that can cloud their judgment and prolong their grief. The philosophy of Stoicism offers a powerful approach to dealing with loss. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, suggests that loss is a natural part of life, and that it is not the loss itself that causes suffering, but our attachment to things and people that we cannot control. He writes, "Loss is nothing else but a change, and change is nature's delight." This mindset shifts our perspective from grief to acceptance, recognizing that the world is constantly changing and that our attachments, while meaningful, are not permanent. Scientific studies also support the Stoic approach to loss. Research on grief shows that while it's natural to feel sadness, those who practice emotional regulation, such as mindfulness and acceptance, tend to heal faster and experience less prolonged distress. In contrast, people who resist or suppress their feelings of loss often struggle with unresolved grief and emotional pain. In practical terms, dealing with loss requires a balance between allowing yourself to feel the sadness and accepting that some things are beyond your control. When you experience loss, instead of reacting impulsively with outbursts of grief or trying to suppress your emotions, allow yourself to feel what you need to feel, but also remind yourself that loss is a part of the natural cycle of life. Take time to reflect on what you've learned from the experience and focus on what you still have control over: your actions, your mindset, and your ability to move forward. Whether it's grieving the loss of a loved one or the end of a chapter in your life, Stoic silence in the face of loss enables you to process emotions without being overwhelmed by them. Over time, this practice helps you build resilience, acceptance, and a deeper appreciation for the transient nature of life, making it easier to cope with future losses. Number 6, navigating ignorance with Stoic grace. In life, we are often faced with situations where people act out of ignorance or misunderstand things, whether it's in our personal relationships, at work, or in society at large. When confronted with ignorance, the instinct may be to correct the person immediately, to prove them wrong, or to engage in an argument to assert our knowledge. However, reacting in this way can often escalate the situation, make us appear condescending, and waste energy on something that ultimately doesn't contribute to a constructive resolution. People who are ignorant may not be open to change or understanding, and engaging in a debate with them can lead to frustration rather than enlightenment. Stoicism teaches us that we should not waste our energy on things that are beyond our control. Ignorance, as Marcus Aurelius wrote, is a natural part of human experience, and people's knowledge is shaped by their backgrounds, experiences, and mental states. Instead of reacting with frustration or defensiveness, we are encouraged to maintain composure and silence, recognizing that the ignorance of others does not diminish our own wisdom or peace of mind. In fact, research in psychology suggests that people who respond calmly to ignorance or misinformation tend to handle these situations with greater emotional intelligence and reduce the likelihood of conflict. A study published in the Journal of Experimental Social Psychology found that people who remain calm in the face of incorrect statements or ignorance are often perceived as more competent and authoritative by others, even if they do not directly challenge the person's view. When you encounter ignorance, practice the Stoic art of silence and grace. This doesn't mean you should never correct misinformation or avoid educating others when it's necessary. It simply means recognizing that not every situation warrants a confrontation. Sometimes, silence can be more powerful than words. If you choose to speak, do so with kindness, patience, and a focus on understanding, rather than on proving someone wrong. If the ignorance is not harmful, or if the person is not open to a thoughtful discussion, it's often best to let it go. By not reacting impulsively to ignorance, you preserve your energy, maintain your peace of mind, and create an environment where your actions and words have more weight when you do choose to speak. This practice of Stoic silence helps you navigate challenging interactions with grace and wisdom, avoiding unnecessary conflict and focusing your energy on what truly matters. Number 7, how to deal with rumors. When you hear a rumor about yourself or someone you care about, you also make decisions of the pressed boost, giving you more attention and credibility. Responses such as this group can disrupt the lifespan of any rumor. They can often be too quickly damaging the style impingement credibility, more than a few days, resulting in more attention and credibility. People may start to wonder why you are so defensive, or your reaction may unintentionally draw more people into the gossip. Just like unfair criticism, rumors often have little to do with you personally, and by engaging with them, you risk allowing them to disturb your inner peace. Research has shown that engaging in the cycle of responding to rumors can perpetuate the negativity. According to a study published in the Journal of Applied Social Psychology, when individuals respond to rumors, they inadvertently fuel the spread of that rumor, as the act of defending oneself or speaking about it can make the rumor seem more significant or valid. On the other hand, those who choose not to respond or engage in the drama surrounding rumors often find that the rumors dissipate on their own. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, reminds us that our peace of mind is far more important than the fleeting opinions of others. His advice is to focus on what is within your control and not let external disturbances, like rumors, invade your inner calm. As he states, waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. This wisdom suggests that rather than investing energy in responding to the rumor itself, we should focus on our own character and actions. In real life, if you encounter a rumor about yourself, the most powerful thing you can do is nothing at all, at least not reactively. If you feel the need to address the rumor, do so in a calm and measured way. Acknowledge that some things are beyond your control and that you do not need to explain or justify your life to anyone. Often, the best course of action is simply to continue living according to your principles and not to give the rumor more significance than it deserves. If you must address it, do so with quiet confidence, stating the facts without getting drawn into unnecessary emotional responses. Over time, this approach will strengthen your resilience and teach you the value of not letting rumors dictate your actions or your peace of mind. By embracing Stoic silence in the face of rumors, you maintain your dignity, focus, and tranquility, regardless of what others may say. Number 8. When confronted with injustice. When faced with injustice, often does more harm than good. You may feel compulsive but resistant and punishing them quickly. Analogy is better than getting down on your walking machine. Actually, prakau get wrong from intiglary or fairness. You may feel compelled to, or are in impressional setting, injustice often does more harm than good. You may feel compelled, but resistance and punishment below. In the heat of the moment, you might say or do something that escalates the situation, making it harder to achieve a positive resolution. Worse, you may allow the injustice to disturb your inner peace, letting it consume your thoughts and emotions, which can ultimately hinder your ability to act wisely. From a psychological standpoint, reacting impulsively to injustice can have negative long-term effects. According to research conducted by the American Psychological Association, individuals who allow anger or frustration to dictate their responses to perceived injustices experience heightened stress, which can cloud their judgment. Chronic exposure to such emotional responses can also lead to burnout, anxiety, and a decrease in overall well-being. Philosophically, Marcus Aurelius teaches that the way we respond to injustice reveals our true character. He reminds us in his meditations that we cannot control the actions of others, but we always have control over how we respond. He wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way," encouraging us to approach challenges, including injustices, with calmness and wisdom, not emotion. In practical terms, when confronted with injustice, consider first whether it's worth responding to at all. Often we waste energy fighting battles that won't ultimately lead to resolution or improvement. If action is necessary, take the time to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. Practice deep breathing or take a moment of silence to center yourself before speaking or acting. If addressing the injustice requires confrontation, ensure that you do so with clarity and poise, focusing on the issue rather than on the emotions it stirs up in you. Sometimes, the most powerful response to injustice is to rise above it by maintaining your composure and continuing to act in accordance with your principles. Stoic silence in the face of injustice doesn't mean tolerating wrongdoing, but rather responding with the strength of a mind that is not disturbed by external events. This approach not only preserves your peace of mind, but also positions you as a person who handles challenges with grace and wisdom, something far more powerful than a reactive outburst. Number 9. How to handle insults with stoic wisdom. When someone insults us, it often feels personal, and the immediate reaction is to retaliate with a sharp comeback or to defend our honor. In a world where verbal exchanges happen rapidly, especially on social media, it can be tempting to respond with equal force. The instinct to defend yourself against an insult is natural, as it threatens your self-esteem and pride. However, reacting impulsively to an insult often leads to regret and further escalation, reinforcing negative feelings. Instead of addressing the insult head-on, embracing stoic silence can be the most powerful and wise choice in this situation. Psychologically, studies show that responding aggressively to insults or provocations can increase stress and emotional reactivity. Research conducted by the University of Michigan indicates that people who engage in verbal aggression tend to experience higher levels of anger and stress, which, over time, can contribute to negative health outcomes. Furthermore, constantly reacting to insults can create a cycle where you're constantly on the defensive, making it more difficult to focus on your goals or maintain peace of mind. The Stoic philosophy, deeply rooted in the teachings of Marcus Aurelius, encourages us to take a step back and avoid letting insults define our emotional state. Aurelius himself wisely noted, "It is not death that a man should fear, but he should fear never to begin to die." By refraining from responding impulsively to insults, we free ourselves from the control others' words can have over our emotions. In practical terms, when faced with an insult, the key is to detach from the immediate emotional response and remember that the insult often reflects more about the other person than it does about you. Instead of retaliating, take a deep breath and remind yourself that you have control over your reactions. If a response is necessary, take the time to carefully choose your words, aiming to de-escalate rather than escalate. Often, the most powerful retort is silence. By not engaging in the insult, you deny the other person the satisfaction of provoking you. Over time, practicing Stoic wisdom in the face of insults not only preserves your dignity, but strengthens your resilience. You begin to realize that the power of your inner peace far outweighs the need for external validation or the desire to win every verbal battle. By embracing silence, you align with the Stoic ideal of maintaining control over your emotions and reactions, no matter how harsh the words thrown your way. We're almost done with this video, but before you move on, I want you to reflect on your life. Are you going to stay stuck, feeling drained and defeated? Or are you ready to take charge and transform your future? If you're ready to make that change, I want you to make a commitment. Drop a comment below and say, "I am determined to live my best life no matter the obstacles. I will succeed." I'll be reading through all your comments and I'll feature the most inspiring one on our channel. If you want more life-changing content, make sure to hit that subscribe button.